Okay, hello students. This is a review of some of the problems from end of chapter 3. Okay, so let us see. In chapter 3, they are telling us what? In chapter 3, in this question, they are telling us that about the assumptions of consumers' behavior, right? So let us see if you take a look at this. So let me see. Okay, let me set up. I have taken a screenshot. Let me set up in an MS Word file because then I can write. Otherwise, I cannot write. So you see what is going on. Let us see view. Let us go to view, and this is zoom, and like zoom to 200, or maybe zoom to 230. So let us see. See, this is better, right? So let us see what is going on. They are saying that in here they are saying that the theory of consumer behavior are based on certain assumptions. The set of 4 basic assumptions include which? So here they give us some options. One, they are telling us this completeness. That is true, right? So if a person prefer commodity bundle A to B and then also prefer what? B to C, okay, and then or he may be what? He may prefer B to A, or he may be indifferent between A and B. See that? So all of this possible. So this is completeness, right? So the consumer knows what his preference is. It's not he's like he doesn't know. He knows. That the first assumption. Second assumption is what? Transitivity. We say that the choices of the consumer is transitive. Means that what? If A is preferred to B, right? And then now if we now make some room and then say that okay, A is preferred to B and then B is preferred to C, commodity bundle C, then it must be that A is also preferred to C. See that? So it has to be transitive. And on the other hand, so that also is true. But what about this intransitive? Intransitive means that this does not apply. If A is preferred to B is preferred to C, this does not have to be true. That is what intransitive tells us, which is not acceptable in the theory of consumer behavior. We assume that what? The transitivity is true. It holds, right? Otherwise we get inconsistent result. As a result, the correct answer for this question would be that both a completeness and transitivity, they are both correct. So that will be the correct answer for this question, right? Intransitive, no, we cannot allow that. Otherwise, if we do, we get inconsistent result. Okay. Okay. So let us see, this is another question that let us review this. The assumption that preferences are complete, what does that mean? This is one of the major assumptions. It means that given any two commodity bundle, right? Commodity bundle A, suppose this one includes some cheese and some what, and some books, and we have just two goods in this item. We simplify, right? And this is another combination and of cheese and books. These are two different commodity bundles, right? So completeness means that the consumer will know if he prefers A to B, or if he's indifferent between A to B, or his what? He prefers B to A, right? He will know, he has enough information for that. That is one of the important assumptions of this consumer theory. See, the correct answer is what? Means that you cannot see all of this here, but they are saying in writing, they are saying these things, that the consumer has enough information to decide which one, A or B, he likes or not, and he can prefer A to B or B to A, or what, he can be indifferent between A to B. Okay, so let us take a look at this. Here they give us another example. This is, suppose Mr. Alvin, this is his indifference curve for good X measured on the horizontal axis, good Y measured on the vertical axis, right? And preferences for good X and good Y are shown in the difference diagram. So look at this. These are Mr. Alvin's what? These lines are his indifference curves, right? And then these are, look at that, these are straight lines. So what does that mean? It means that if you look at the example, when the indifference curves are like that, right, we have a perfect substitutes. So Mr. Alvin, for Mr. Alvin, good X and good Y, they are perfect substitute. He can change one instead of the other, right? So the slope, look at that, the slope of that indifference curve at different point is the same. It is not going to change. This is only possible when this is a straight line. If on the other case, indifference curve normally is what, like this. Remember, this is the origin, this is what we measure, good X, good Y, and then what? Slope, if you measure at different points, you will see that slope is the slope of the tangent, right? And that slope of the tangent will then be different, right? At different points, but not so here. This is the case of a perfect substitute. This Mr. Alvin is thinks that X and Y, they are perfect substitutes. So the slope remains the same. And also in our discussion we said that marginal rate of substitution is equal to the slope. Here this is y on the on this axis and x on the horizontal axis. See, MRS, marginal rate of substitution. This means that how much y is Mr. Alvin ready to sacrifice for one more unit of good X. That is what that MRS tells us, and that is also what the slope of his indifference curve at a certain point, right? Now, and for this straight line indifference curve, this is the same all over, right? Here, but if you look here, MRS, you will see what? MRS, this point is 0.1, right? Is bigger than MRS what? MRS, look at the slope of that tangent at that point too. This one is highest than this one, and this is flatter than this. So MRS, right? MRS at 0.3, the slope of the tangent is what? At 0.3 is smaller than 0.2, right? And so on. So that we can find from here. Now let us see. Let us take a look at this. This is table 3.1. They are showing us three market baskets, right? So this is food and this is clothing, two types of goods. Market basket A is showing us what? Is showing us so this is let us see if we, okay, market basket A contains 6 units of food and 3 units of clothing, see? And then market basket B contain what? This is difficult to see. Let me see. Okay, so this is the result we have, the table, right? We are looking at a better picture, better graph. Table 7.3, they are saying us these are three market basket. Basket A contain 6 food, excuse me, and 3 clothing. B contain 8 units of food and 5 clothing. C contain 5 units of food and 8 clothing. See that? So now they are asking us, okay, if preferences satisfy all 4 of the basic assumptions, right? They are asking us several questions based on that. So they are asking us if let us see if we can bring it from there. Here, this is the question. What will be the answer? So they are asking us, let me take it to the Word document. They are asking us, okay, can we say that A is on the same indifference curve? right? So they are telling us, asking us three questions and asking us to answer. Let us say that they are saying this is the correct answer. B is preferred to A. Let us check if B is preferred to A. See, B has compare B and A. B has 8 food and 6 clothing, and B also has 5 food and 3 clothing. Sorry, B has what? 8 food and A has 6 food only, and B has 5 clothing and A has 3 clothing only. See that? Therefore we can say that yes, that is true. That is the correct answer. Now if you go to the other choices and examine in a similar way, you'll see that it will those choices will not be whole true. So A is preferred to C. Let us examine this one, for example. Let us go. A is preferred to C. They are saying A is better than C. Let us compare, right? Change color. A is better. A and C compare. Yeah. See, 6 food and 5 6 food in A and 5 food in C, right? What about clothing? Let us compare. Only three clothing in A and 8 clothing in C. So we cannot say that, right? We cannot say that A is preferred to C, because more is better, right? Here this person has more clothing in C and more food in A, and we don't know which one is better, because they are not it's not like A and B. Between A and B is has more of food and clothing than at A, right? More of both. But in between A and C, A has more food, than clothing, but more food than C. But for clothing, between A and C, C is better. So we really don't know. Okay, so this is how you compare all the different parts. Now this one is saying B is on the same indifference curve as C. Is this possible? Let us examine the table. B and C, they are on the same indifference curve. See, one compare what? One compare B and C. See, again the same problem. B has more food than C, but B also has less clothing than C. So, and we don't know if this is on the same indifference curve or not. Because to be on the same indifference curve, remember this is IC indifference curve. These are the two axes, right? X, 0 and Y, right? This should be a straight line. I'm just drawing quickly. So please let us see. So what happens? So we can say that, see, this one, this one, this one, all these combinations are on the same indifference curve, but we don't have enough information for that here. On the same indifference curve, they have same level of utility. So for example, this indifference curve IC will have what? 10 utils. So all of these points A, B, C will have the same utility. Without that information, we don't know what is utility for A or B or C. We just know the commodity combinations. That alone will not tell us if they are on the same indifference curve or not. Okay. Yeah. Hello students. So let us see. We continue our discussion of sample problems from chapter 3. Right. So let us take a look at. Yeah. Let us take a look at this. Okay. So we are good. The budget constraint for a consumer who only buys apples and what bananas is this one. PA times A, price of apples times quantity of apples she is buying, price of apples, and this is the amount number of apples she is buying, and price of bananas PB, and this is a number of bananas, right? Quantity of bananas that she will buy, right? and then what happens, and then to the okay, and where consumer income is I. Consumer income is given as I. So I, his income, we have those 5 variables, right? Now to plot this budget line, you constraint in figure with apples on the horizontal axis, right? So let us consider this is, we are suppose the figure. We are going to plot measure number of A on the horizontal axis, and on the vertical axis we are going to measure B, right? We should use the budget line represented by the slope intercept equation. So let us see from here how do we go to slope intercept equation. So you see this is price of A multiplied apples multiplied by number of apples is the money spent on apple. Price of B multiplied by the number of B consumed is what? Is the money spent on bananas. Apples and money spent on bananas, and this is I total number of income she has. And now to plot it in a graph like this, in this slope intercept format, what are we going to do? We are going to simplify. So let us say that what? Price of bananas we keep here with bananas, and then take everything else I, and all of this is minus PA and A. We take it on the right hand side. Then we keep B here, and then what? Divide both terms in what? Both term in what? In price of B. Write that B. And then what? I divided by price of bananas minus what? Price of apples, price of bananas, and then this is apples A. See that? So this will be the equation. This is the intercept of the budget line. So intercept I divided by PB, right? That will be income divided by price of bananas. We are measuring bananas on the vertical axis, right? Because they are telling us apples on the horizontal axis, right? Here means that banana on the vertical axis, then this will be the budget line. Here this intercept will be income I divided by price of bananas, right? And then the slope is what? The slope is, we know that the slope, that slope is what? Is change in bananas vertical axis divided by change in apples in the horizontal axis, right? And the slope is minus price ratio of price of apples divided by price of bananas, right? Whenever whenever we have a situation where we are dealing with a budget line, we know that this slope is always given by the negative of the what? Ratio of prices. Price of whatever we have here in the horizontal axis. Now we have what? Apples, right? And here we have NA as bananas. Okay. All right. Hopefully this. So here we want to review. Let us review this problem. Here they are saying that we have clothing on the horizontal vertical axis, or this is origin, measuring food on the horizontal axis. Refer to figure 4.2.2 above, this one, right? This figure. Starting from point A, we are starting from point A, right? So this is our old budget line, right? The old budget line. And this is the quantity of food they are consuming, F1, right? This is F1. And now what are they telling us? After the price of food decreases, price of food decreases means what? Price of food becomes cheaper. So this is price of food, and this is what? And then we know that this is price of clothing, and we know that because the yeah, slope of this budget line, this one, the old budget line, is what? Is the ratio of price of food divided by what? Price of clothing. See, slope will be like that. And now what happens? Now for price of food decreases means what? Price of food decreases means that PA becomes smaller. See that? So in the slope right? Slope is the ratio of those two prices. The numerator decreases. Now when we numerator decreases, we know that slope will then decrease also. So this is our new budget line. See, so new budget line will pivot, rotate, right? We say, and it will go from this point to this point, rotate. Now this is another thing is that because price of food is lower now, with the same money they can now buy more food. This is the more food they can buy. So that is why all this that was not available before at the previous higher prices of food now become available with lower price. So you see, also you see the budget line is what is rotating. See that? Rotate. Okay. And now as a result, what we can see, what is the new equilibrium? See, at the new A, it will go to B. See that? So that is the tangent, that is the initial tangent here. This is equilibrium 1. This is the second tangent with the new budget line, a new indifference curve U2, right? Before this was the tangent between U1 and the old budget line at equilibrium 1. Now it is that point B is tangent with this U2 indifference curve, right? And the new budget line. Okay. So what are they asking now? Let us see. This one refer to phrase A. After the price of food decreases, the quantity of food purchased, what will happen? Increase. Food will increase, right? Due to the substitution effect. So what does that mean? Let us go and examine. So substitution effect is what? Look at that. When we go now we know that this is F1 to F2, that is the total effect, right? This area, but this effect is the sum of two effects. One is the change of price. So substitution effect we can show from by the movement. Look at this. This is a point C. This is what? This is at point C we have a line that is tangent. This line tangent to the old indifference curve U1, but it is parallel to the new budget line. So the slope of the tangent line at C, at the U1 indifference curve at C, right, is the tangent of that line is equal to this line. Now we do draw this tangent to isolate two effects. See, when price of food decreases because of the change of food becomes cheaper. Consumer actually goes from F1 to E. This is E, right? Corresponding to that C tangent point. But then that is the substitution effect. But then what about the income effect? So AC substitution effect in this graph is what? Is going from F1 to E. Okay. But then there is this income effect. When price of food goes down, the purchasing power of the consumer's income increases. See, whenever price of items go down, the same money consumers can buy more, so purchasing power will increase. And when it does, when purchasing power increases, he is actually then what? Buying less food. He's going that effect of that purchasing power, that impact of purchasing power is shown by this parallel shift. See, from C we then move to B. Because of higher level of income, the budget line is shifting out and to the right. This is the income effect associated with this price change, decrease in price of food, right? And as a result, when we go from C to B, this one becomes E to F2. So see that? So the total effect of an increase in price is how much? Is actually F1 and F2. If you compare this, you'll see that part of this F1 and E is offset by this movement, negative income effect. Positive substitution effect, because when price of food decreases, we buy more. But then when we consider the income effect, that is the increase in purchasing power because of lower price of food, we see that people buy less food when their purchasing power increases. So that is EF2 is negative income effect. See, so if we want to show it here, already clumsy, going from E to F2, okay, going from E to F2. So the total effect, then this one is a net. Part of this substitution effect is then offset by that negative income effect. See that? Okay. So let us continue with our review, right? So here we have what? Let me see if I can, I can, if I can erase this. Okay. So this is the problem, and in this problem they are asking us what? They are giving us this graph, and then they are asking us that this is figure 4.2.1, this one. Which of the following moves represent the income effect? They want us to find the income effect from here. So let us see what is going on. So here what happens is that, look, initially we are at point A. This is the budget line, original budget line, and this U1 is the, excuse me, original indifference curve. So this is A, right? And then what happens here is that that price of, so we are measuring food on this axis F, clothing on this axis C, right? Okay. And here is the tangent point between indifference curve U1 and the budget line, initial budget line. Then what happens is that price of food decreases. And how do we know that? Because look at that, the budget line swings out, right? If, because of lower price of food, now we can say what? We can buy more food with all our income. So look at that, the intersect has changed, right? Nothing happens. Price of clothing does not change, right? But price of food, what? Decreases. As a result, that intercept I, income divided by price of food, remember, that was this intercept. Because the denominator food is decreasing, that intercept will then increase, right? This is how we say, we know. Now just additional some, this slope and this slope, let us compare. See, slope, we know that slope of a budget line is what? Is price of food on the horizontal axis divided by price of clothing on the vertical axis. And price of food decreases, what happens? All of this slope, will then decrease, right? Because the denominator of this ratio is decreasing. Look, compare this one and this one, you will see that this one is smaller, this ratio is larger. So that also tells us what? Price of food has decreased. And as a result, in this new budget line, so let us show you the new budget line, this one and this one, the new budget line, right? And this B is the new consumption point. They are consuming F2 amount of food. They used to consume F1, but now they are consuming F2. See, all of that is then the income. Sorry, all of that is the increase in consumption of food, right? As they go from A to point A, as they go to A to B, right? And now what happens now? This F1 and F2, we know F1 and F2, that is the total effect, right? Total effect. But now we want to know what will be the income effect. That is what we want to know. Because when price of food decreases, we know that the same amount of money will buy more food. So purchasing power of money is increasing. Because now they have more money, more real income, more purchasing power, right? Nominal income has not changed, but because of lower price of food, real income will increase. And as a result, what happened? How do we show that? To show the real income, what are we going to do? We are going to draw this third budget line. Look at that. That third budget line, which will be tangent to the old indifference curve U1, but the new third budget line is what? That budget line, that green one, that green budget line will be parallel to the budget line at B, right? See, so look at that. This is the budget line, at B, at the within see that. So this budget line is inside, look at that, it is a parallel shift and inside, and then that budget line is what, is tangent to that U1 indifference curve at point D. So this is showing us the breakup of income and substitution effect. See, so the move from A to D is the increase in consumption of food from F1 to E. From F1 to E, that is the substitution effect, right? That is how much food they consume, more food they consume because price of food has decreased right here. But what about this one? The other part, other part is E to F2. That E to F2 part, that is the income effect. So that is the food consumption of food between point D, tangent point D, and tangent point B. See that? So so when the consumption point moves from D to B, we say that that is because of the higher level of income. So this one is then the what? This one is then the income effect. One easy way to distinguish the income effect is substitution effect. Income effect, you can find out the difference between points such as D and B, but those D and B correspond to two parallel budget lines, right? Where this slope and this slope is the same. They both reflect the new price ratios, right? But what happens? But different level of income. So that is why this. Okay. So this is one important difference. And then in this graph, the substitution effect will be F1 to E. That is the increase in food consumption that is coming from substitution effect, right? When price of food decreases and price of clothing does not change, price of food decreases, food becomes cheaper than clothing, so people consume more, right? And as a result, what are they going to do? As a result, they are going to do what? As a result, they are going to consume more food. From E to this one is what? F2. That is what? Consume more. So that is that is the substitution effect. But when they consume, when we draw that parallel line, this one parallel line, which is parallel to this one, the new budget line, and but tangent to the old indifference curve U2, U1, then that D, the difference between D and B, that one is telling us what? Telling us the income effect, and this one is telling us the substitution effect. We can write AC and we can write IE. They are both positive. Why? Because when income increases, people consume more food from E to F2, right? So positive income effect. Also, when price of food goes down, people consume more food. So consumption of food increases from F1 to E. So again, increase positive substitution effect. This is one example where we want to analyze, calculate elasticity. What is the price elasticity of demand if the price of artichoke is 10? See, so this is the demand for artichoke. Demand depend on what? 200 minus 4p, right? This is the demand curve, and from here we have to find out price elasticity of demand. So what is price elasticity of demand? We know that this is what? This is change in quantity divided by change in price, and then quantity divided by price. See, so this actually is what? We can get this one from here. So if differentiate Q with respect to P, we find that slope is -4. So that value we will substitute in here, right? And then what about the P is given. We want to measure price at price equal to 10. So price equal to 10 is given. And now we want to find out what is Q at the corresponding Q when price is 10. To find that, let us substitute and solve. So this is the demand, this is 200. Now we want to know what will be the demand when price is 10, right? So let us substitute 200 and minus, and then this is what? This is 10, right? Oh, this is 4, right? This is 4. So this is what? 40, right? 4 times what? 4 times the 10 is 40. So this is what? 160. So we can say that, hey, when price is $10, demand is 160. So that is the pair we are looking for. We will now substitute, right? Substitute, and then this is minus 4, and then Q is 160, and P is how much, please? P we know is 10. So 0 0 we cancel out. This is minus 100. So 16 times 4 is what? 64. So let us see, let us compare with the answer. Oh, 0.25. Oh, so sorry, I made a mistake here. This one will be what? This one, everything okay. Here I made a mistake. This one should be here. This is P and this is Q. That is how it will be, right? So just let us now substitute. So P is what? P we know is 10, and Q is what? 160, right? Okay, now what happens? Now cancel this, and then 4 and 16 is 4. So it is minus 1 over 4, which is what? Minus 0 point in decimal 25, right? So that is the answer. Okay. So now let us take a look at this one. This problem is telling us, so what is they are asking us, that demand for an equation is what? Q log of Q, right? This Q is demand, A is intercept, minus B log of P. So B is the coefficient for the variable P, right? B2 is the coefficient for variable P2, and C is the coefficient for I income, right? So see that, and now they are asking us that uh, where P is the price of the good in question, P2 is the price of good of the second good, right? And I is income. The second good must be what? This P2 must be what? So is it a complement or substitute? That is what they are asking us. So let us look at B2. B2 is the coefficient, right? So B2 is the coefficient, and what is it telling us? One thing here is that, look at this, the right hand side, left hand side, all in log. Therefore that B2 is actually the elasticity, cross price elasticity of good 1 in terms of good 2, right? So this is price elasticity um, of good 1 in terms of price of good 2, right? And this one tells us that, and this one is for cross price elasticity positive. Means what? That means what? It means that when price of good 2 is that B2 is coefficient positive, it means that if P2 increases, right, price of 2 increases, people will switch to good 1, and as a result demand for good 1 will increase. You see that up arrow within the quotation mark, I'm saying that we are saying that if we are using that as shorthand for what? Shorthand for increase, and this one is within quotation shorthand for decrease, right? Okay, so we see that here that B2 is positive, that is that coefficient positive means what? When cross price elasticity between two goods positive, it means they are substitutes. So in this case, it means they are substitutes. Okay.